Good. I hear you. You got me?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. We're good. Double up. Nope, there you go. Okay, so I think everybody, we can hear each other, but he dropped off. So this is on rhino horn, and oh, he's coming back, I think. All right. Are we good? Do you want to go? Are you frozen? No, you're frozen. So we're debating rhino horn, and I make the claim that rhino horn and ivory should be legalized internationally. Right now, it's illegal internationally, and I like any kind of prohibition. The outlaw of the sale of a product does not affect the actual sale of the product. It just raises the price and thus has an opposite effect of what's intended. So kind of like alcohol, Al Capone, you have the criminals come in and they take over the market and they make a lot of money. And the intent, which is to, in the case of alcohol prohibition, is to reduce the amount of alcohol sold, actually has no effect in can't say whether or not it increased or decreased at that time, but we can say pretty assuredly that having ivory illegal worldwide leads to more elephants being killed. And that's because if it were legal, we would have other methods than poaching. So again, I'm not here defending poaching by any means. So poaching still illegal, leave that illegal, but make the sale of ivory legal, which would incentivize farming. Oh, you're back. Hey.
Okay, fine. How are you? Good.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Still got a cold, but that happens. That wasn't on camera. Okay, go ahead. I did a little thing. So I believe we should legalize the sale of ivory internationally.
Okay. Yeah, fine. Okay. The topic that you have raised, the sale of one-horn rhinos, the rhinos and ivory horn, should never be legalized internationally. It is my firm belief. And you disagree to the point that they should not be legalized. Now the question is, why am I saying that ivory and horns should be never legalized internationally? Can you hear me? Okay. You see, we are all human beings. And as we are all human beings, it is our duty to protect the nature. We are all human beings and we have a duty. We are all human beings and we have a duty to protect the nature. And the nature says that we must be kind to each and every animal. Because each and every animal are also the same beings like us. Whatever we have, they also have got the same emotions. Whatever organs we have, they may be different from them, but at least they also have the right to live in this particular world. Now, when we talk about legalization of horns and ivory internationally, then there would be, what? A rapid destruction and devastation of the animals community. People, for the greed of money, will kill as many animals they want. Still, undercover, many animals have been killed to sell their horns, ivory in the market. That's fine. But when it will be legalized, then the government will take the initiative to kill the animals, which people like us should not let it to happen. Because waiting, in my country, I have got one rhinoceros, which is an Indian, and I never want that these animals become extinct. Similarly, like you, when you are in America, you have got some special species over there. So when someone will kill them and make them extinct, would you feel good? No, no one. So even I don't think that just by legalization of this horns and ivory internationally, it will increase the trade between countries. No, there cannot be any trade. There cannot be any trade. I'll just say that when this legalization will happen, then at least, then I know one thing, that at least now at present, the ones who murder the animals or who kills the animals are considered as criminals. But when this will legalized internationally, then the government will turn to criminals because they will kill the animals for their profit. Because the government will kill the animals for their profit, which the people who love the nature not allow it to happen. Back to you.
So we're talking about legalization of ivory, not of the killing of animals. So I don't think that there's any reason to think the government would go out and start killing the animals. We would still have poaching as illegal. We still have these. In fact, you said you're in Assam, which I was just reading is actually quite a large poaching area for rhinos, correct? And I think they're in
Yeah,
the early 1900s, they almost went extinct. So,
yeah,
so the poaching would still be illegal. We'd still have these animal preserves, and the only difference would be that the sale of the horn would be legalized, which means this is just a basic market incentive. For example, the sale of cows of beef is legal, and cows are not extinct. The sale of chicken is legal. Chickens are not extinct. These things you don't even see in the wild. But what the legalization of the sale creates a profit motive to raise more of these animals. If you legalize rhino, and in fact, South Africa for 20 years, it was legal. And during those 20 years, it multiplied the population by 4. Then when it became illegal again, poaching multiplied by thousands of percent. So because when it's illegal, all it does is raise the price and brings in criminals to the market who have no problem breaking laws. And in Kenya, last year alone, they burned 100 tons of ivory seized from poachers, and over 1,000 park rangers were murdered. So this is just like prohibition here in the United States in the 1930s. You bring in a criminal element, you raise the profit incentive for these products, but only for the dangerous folks. And you actually lead to more, in the case of rhino horn, you lead to more poaching because the profit is there. A rhino horn goes for, in some cases, $300,000. And in Kenya, that's like $1 billion in the United States as far as purchasing power. So that's a huge incentive to go out and break the law. Now, if we legalized ivory, you could incentivize people to have ivory farms, which is exactly what happened in South Africa during the 20 years when it was legal. They would raise the rhino, they would tranquilize it instead of kill it, cut off the horn. The rhino would get right back up, be normal. It's just like a fingernail. Doesn't hurt the rhino to cut the horn off. And second, it would also, you have a thing called fake ivory. And you could, if it were legal to sell, that would be an incentive for these scientists to make this fake ivory, flood the market, drive the price down. And if the price of ivory and the price of rhino horn was just a few $1,000s per horn instead of 300, the incentive to go out and poach, which is a risking your life, because again, the rangers shoot to kill, ask questions later, as they should, because it's so dangerous. But it's be an incentive to, number one, have the farms, right, and you would have a market incentive for individuals to raise these animals, multiply the population, and number two, create fake ivory, drive the price down, reduce the incentive for poachers to come out. I would also, you said animal rights. If you want to get into animal rights, we could do that, but animals don't have rights. They don't necessarily have a right to live.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's it. We don't have to get into that. But I would those are my main points. Is that legalizing ivory would actually increase the population and reduce poaching.
Okay. Yeah. You mentioned a point that at present cows, which is termed as beef. Beef and chicken are legal. They can be sold anywhere, anytime, and there is no violation of any law. Fine, but we are comparing chicken and beef to a rhino horn. It will be something like which cannot suit, because rhinos are animals which have got a more value than that of cows and a chicken. We take the cows, for a delicious dinner or for a delicious lunch. We kill the cow for that. We kill the chicken for our food, to have the chicken. I mean, for dinner or something like that. We kill it. But rhinos are killed for what? Rhinos are killed for their horns, for money, for greed. If we go on killing the cows, if we go on killing the chickens, I will say that yes, there will be a time when this particular animals will also get extinct. Yes, today the topic is not about killing of cows and killing of chickens, but I will add it for myself that we should still ban the killing of animals like cows and hens and chickens, because they are also animals, and I really disagree with the point that animals do not have rights. No, animals have rights. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Animals also have rights. It's not that they don't have any rights to live. No. When God has created each and everyone, God has given us each and every life. We have the right to live however we want. If humans can live their way, why can't the animals? And I think in the world we have got many many NGOs and many other organizations who work for a protection, who work for making the animals gain their rights and see that whether the animals are safe or not. So the point that you have raised, that we are killing cows, we are killing chickens, we are killing hens, I will say that there should be a time, there should be a law by which killing of any animal should be, should be made illegal. And once you kill the animals, he must be put behind a bars. And the point over here, rhinos are dead. What I'm saying, yeah, it's true that poaching is still there. But I'm saying today, who are doing the illegal hunting? Today, the illegal hunting has been done by by some people who wants it for money. But tomorrow, when this will be made legalized, this killings will be done by the government, and at that time, the government will become the criminals. And at the time, the government will become the criminals. Today, the killing has been done by people who are criminals in front of the government. But tomorrow, when this will be legalized, tomorrow the government will kill all the animals, and tomorrow we'll have to consider government to be a criminal. I always say, and I always want, it is my principle, that as animals have got the right to live, animals have got that particular, this world to live, then they should have. Because you say, if animals are not worthy of living in this world, then why did God send them here? Then why did they exist here? It's a scientific-based thing. That yes, animals are capable to live in this particular earth, so they're living here. If they were not capable, then they should not have lived over here. But as they're capable, so I think they also have got the rights to live here, and they must be allowed to live as they can. It's not like, can you just imagine someone will cut our hands, someone will take out our lungs and sell them? No. If some surgery is done to us and by which our lungs are taken out, by which are taken out and sell somewhere, it will be just like we will say it is a human trafficking. So this is also animal trafficking that we are doing. Back to you.
Okay, so again, animals don't have rights. I think animals are here for our enjoyment. I think that's why animals were placed here. But again, to the government killing in Zimbabwe, the government does actually sell the right to come and kill lions and other animals, and it's actually just part of the protecting of those animals. So it's not free. You have to pay these park rangers. You have to pay them well, because it's a very dangerous job. And so people in the West will pay lots of money to come and do a big game hunt. And obviously, the Cecil the lion was a famous example where they just killed the wrong lion, but that's very common. So right now, government actually does kill. Mugabe, before he was sort of deposed, he was famous for eating baby elephant, and he would wear lion mane and all kinds of stuff because he'd kill them all the time. So government's already sort of, if they want to, they can kill these animals. But if we legalize it, that's not going to be a problem, because governments won't have any real incentive to do it. They'll just tax the legal farming of these animals, and so governments will actually have a better incentive to allow people to raise these animals, and they'll get a tax out of it. And yeah, it's about profit, but that's the way the world works. So incentive, the profit motive, is a wonderful thing. it incentivizes people to go out and raise these animals. You said cows and chickens are killed for food, but I don't know anybody that actually raises them for food. Pretty much everybody raises cows and chickens for the purpose of making a profit, of selling them. So you've got, I don't know any of the farms, but they raise these animals with the purpose of killing them and selling them on the market and making a profit. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so. You see, we are all humans. Let me bring something. Something different from the topic. You know what? As we are all humans, we should not always try to look for profit, because money. I think money is the cause of all ruins in a society. The biggest social evil that we have at present is money. For money, people can kill themselves. For money, people can sell them anywhere. So this is all what is going on at present. Money is the root cause of all social evils that is happening. So we should not try to say something. We should not try to do something only for money. Just anywhere. If we try to do for ourselves, for more hurt, if we devote it to ourselves without bothering about this profit and all, then obviously that work would provide us with a good profit. So every time money doesn't count. Money is not only the matter. You have been saying that cows and hens have been raised for the purpose of profit. But I have seen many people who keeps pets, who keeps cows, who keeps animals, who keep chickens because they love them. They have poultry farms, they have gardens, they have birds because they love them. Because they are natural activists. They love the animals. They love to stay with animals. So it doesn't mean that for a purpose of profit, they have raised animals. No.
Okay, you dropped off. You said money is the root of all evil. No, love of money is the root of all evil, and that's when people love money and they want money more than anything else. And so, yes, there is a danger there, but that's not what the market does. The market incentivizes people to serve one another. So there's a great video by Dr. Walter E. Williams, Prager University video that Walter E. Williams has created. And what the profit motive does is it makes people compete with each other to make money, and through competition, it betters the product. And society has a say in the raising of the product. So if factory farms are treating animals poorly and people don't like that, they can choose not to buy products from those factory farms. They can go to free range beef and stuff like that is very popular here. And what it does is
I can hear you.
Okay, you're back. You were saying.
Okay, fine. That you have said that people nowadays it is all about marketing. That people always try to earn money. They also try to compete with each other. But if we try to think of it emotionally, let us live the profit. Every time in the life, I don't think profit is the only thing. Every time in the life, we can't say that profit is everything. Live the profit. Just from the point of view, let us come out. As a human being, let us think. Let us think as a human being that whether we can we kill the animals. Today, when we kill a baby of a cow, if we think for just a minute as a human being that I'm killing a baby cow, how will a mother feel? Today, I'm killing a rhino. How would the baby feel? If we think it as a human being, if we think emotionally, I think yes, it will come to each and everyone that is wrong. Whatever we have been doing from ages and ages is wrong. So at least as a human being, if we try to try to understand, I feel then all this, would not be there. Even if we try to think as a human being, there will be no one who will go and kill the rhinoceros. There will be no one who will go and kill the lions for their marks. There will be no one who would kill the animals for ivory. If we think as a human being. Today, at present, the problem is that we are thinking as someone in the world who has come to rule over. But we always consider animals to be somewhat inferior to us. But from how? Let me say you an example. We human beings run after money. Animals do not. We human beings cry for our sins. Animals do not. We human beings fight for property. Animals do not. We human beings commit a lot of mistakes. Animals do not. We human beings always try to make ourselves superior to others, but animals do not. Everyone is equal. Each and everyone is equal. So animals, I consider they're superior to human beings. They have more intellectual capacity than that of human beings. Human beings, I consider they're human beings are inferior to animals, and animals are superior to them. So when animals are superior, I think we have no right to go and kill those animals. If we try to think as a human being, if we try to think a bit emotionally, yes, money matters because in life without money we cannot do anything. Yes, I know, but there are many other cases, or there are many other works where there are many other jobs which we can do and earn the money. Only killing animals, is this the only job of a person to earn money? No. Today people are killing this all things. They don't use in a better way. They're misusing it. People are misusing all these things. People are misusing it. When it will be legalized internationally, then there will be a fight between the countries, between the nations. That I want this, I want that, and the trade will go in such a way we can't imagine. At the first, at the beginning, it will be great. When afterwards it will overcome 2 to 3 ages or 2 to 3 years, you will understand that how the animals are getting extinct. And once the animal gets extinct, we can understand the value. Because unless we have something we don't understand, only once when we lack it, then we understand the value of it. Back to you.
Okay, so I don't think animals have the same value as human life. I don't think animals are better. Animals don't have rights. Animals don't have morals. Animals just have instinct, and they fight each other. They kill each other. They take things from each other. They do a lot of things that humans do, but it's not wrong for them to do it because they're not moral creatures. Only humans are. Now, you were talking about the killing of animals, and if we have a market for the products such as beef, chicken, things like that, these animals wouldn't exist if it weren't for the fact that humans eat them, that people kill them and we eat them. So isn't it better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all? So if humans didn't eat these animals, they wouldn't exist. And so I don't see what the problem there is. I understand some people want these animals to live some happy utopian life, and that's what I see in your argument, is that you're kind of seeking some utopian world where everybody just loves each other, and that's not going to happen. So all you can really do is you can use the market functions of incentives, the profit motive, and you can allow these things to create what we would say a better world in terms of the rhino, which is, again, if we legalize rhino horn, you're not going to have a sudden increase in the poaching because right now it's illegal internationally, and that hasn't had any positive effect at all. So, in fact, I pointed out that it's had a negative. It's had a negative effect.
Sorry to interrupt you.
So,
yes, no.
Well,
what I'm saying is, wait.
Go ahead.
Okay, continue.
Well, I'm just saying that since it was made illegal, you've actually had 1,000%, well over 1,000% increase in the number of poaching. So it seems to me that given that when it was made illegal, so now it's a crime, poaching went up, right? So in the U.S., drugs are illegal, doesn't seem to have an effect, okay? So a lot of people still, in fact, drugs are easiest to get in prison, of all places, where you actually have a secure facility. Drugs are easy to get there, though. So poaching, if you legalize it, you can flood the market with legal ivory, legal rhino horn, drive the price down. The incentive to poach, the $300,000 for a rhino horn, goes away. So now you drive it down to $100,000. Now people are thinking, is it worth risking my life for $100? Is it worth risking my life for $50? The more you flood the market, the lower the price becomes. And you can get to where right now poachers say, yeah, it's worth $300,000 to go kill a rhino because they see my family versus a rhino. Okay, so I totally understand the poacher's point of view. They see the rhino as a way to help their family, and they go out and they kill it. But if the price of a rhino were $20,000, would they still do it? No, because the risk is really high. It's a very dangerous thing. Again, over 1,000 park rangers. I don't know how many poachers were killed, but this making it illegal, you've created this big problem. Here in the U.S., when alcohol was illegal, you had prohibition. You created a lot of crime bosses like Al Capone, and you had a lot of murders. It was a big problem. So when they legalized it, now you can go down to the store, and I don't drink, but you can go down to the store and you can get whatever you want, and you don't have to worry about some speakeasy or dealing with some criminal. With drugs, you do. You have to go down to the corner, I don't know, wherever you get drugs, and the guy gives you a bad product, and there's no legal recourse, so you go fight it out with weapons. So anytime you make something illegal, it becomes a black market, and black markets are very, very problematic.
Yeah. Do you think ivory horns, black markets would not exist there? Do you think that? Do you think if we legalize ivory legal, and all, there will be no black market?
Well, there might still be a black market, but the price will be much lower. So here, they legalize marijuana in Washington, but because the taxes are so high, you still have a black market for marijuana. You can still go buy it illegally for less than you can buy it legally. But the majority of people go and buy it legally because they realize if they buy it illegally, there's still a risk involved. So it's just a trade-off. That's kind of what the world is about. It's about trade-offs. So people decide, do I want to take the risk and save money, or do I want to go buy it legally and reduce the risk? And people tend to go and want to do it legally. So with rhino horn, I don't see how it would be any different. People would raise them legally, and you'd have the fake ivory, and you could, again, it's just about flooding the market down and reducing the incentive to poach.
Yeah. You are talking about fake ivory, fine. But you see, when I talk about fake ivory, this fake ivory is not the cause. I mean, legalization cannot be one of the reasons or one of the measure. Or after you made anything legalized, do you think this fake ivory will not exist? It will still exist. At present, you say, we have got currencies. Don't you think they are duplicate currencies? Yes, we have. We have got duplicate notes also. So we can't say that after we legalize this ivory horns, after we legalize the rhinos and all, there will be no black market. Black market will be active in a huge amount than it is at present. Because if, for example, consider after legalization of ivory horns and after legalization of ivory and rhino horns, the value of one rhino horn will come up to like $3,000, right? But if it is sell on the market, people will give, it will raise up to probably $5,000. Because the thing is that when someone purchases $3,000 something, or whenever someone sells it, there will be something which you call as tax. They have to pay the tax. Because they have to pay the tax means what? $3,000 they're selling, so they have to pay some amount to the government. But when they will do undercover, when they will do in the black markets, this particular concept of tax will not be there. So they will try to seek their profit in each and every. And today, after we made legalize of everything, do you think black market is not there? Black markets are still existing. Drugs are not legalized. Who said no? Drugs are legal. Many of the drugs are legal, but still we have everything in black. We have everything. Anything that are legalized, they always have got a black market. And in black markets, I don't know what is the main concept, because I have never seen any black market. But thing is that anything you make legalize or anything you do, there will be existing parallel black market to that. So you can't say that if we legalize everything, there will be no black markets. And the thing that I was trying to say from that time, that every time I have said that after legalization of all these things, poachings will not get reduced. You are saying that poachings will not increase after we legalize. No, poachings will never reduce. After we legalize all these things to increase the trade between the countries, the government itself will do the killings of animals.
There's no reason to think that the government will kill the animals. They could kill the animals right now if they wanted to, but there's no reason to think they would. Right now, they contract out other people to come and kill the animals. And when they do it, legalized ivory, it would be similar to the way it is right now. In Zimbabwe, they contract out the people to come and kill lions, because they have to kill the lions anyways. It's just part of the population culling. There's too many of them. So they will sell the right to kill a lion for $50,000. Some wealthy individual will come to Africa, Zimbabwe, shoot the lion, pay $50,000. He gets his prize. The $50,000 goes to pay many park rangers to protect all the other lions. So you could have the same thing. You'd have taxes raised. You have money raised by the legalized sale. of ivory, of rhino horn, and that money would go to park rangers to protect the other animals, the wild animals. So again, we're
You're saying
talking
that
about
government. Okay.
replacing black market with actual markets. And in legal markets, you don't have murders. You don't for the sale of alcohol today in the U.S. You don't have people shooting each other. You have people shooting each other in drug sales because it's illegal, black markets. So marijuana, you don't even have that problem anymore. You don't have
You're
that
saying
problem
that
with cow.
government can kill the. Okay. Okay. No. Oh wait. I was saying that you said that government can kill the animals even now also. No. How can government kill the animals? Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. You were saying that government kill the animals now, but no. How can government kill the animals now? Because every nation, every country has got some of the specific rights, some of the specific rules and regulations under which animals are to be treated very kindly. There are many restrictions, there are many bans on killing many animals which are not a part of extinct. So you cannot say the government can kill the animals now. They cannot do it. But yes, it has been operating, undercover. People are doing it. People are doing it, not the government. And once they legalize it, just for profit, just for profit, government would never take a curse turn not to kill animals. They will try to kill as many animals because they want to increase their trade. And I've said every time that let us think as humans. If we think a bit emotionally, when we go and kill someone's baby, do you think it is something like that of a human character? No. Today, if someone hurts my sister, if today someone hurts your sister, if tomorrow someone hurts someone's baby, do you think it is some of a human act? It cannot be. Similarly, with animals, if we kill the baby of a cow, do you think it is a human nature? It cannot be a human nature. Think emotionally.
Yeah. This has an emotional argument here.
He also has got emotions. We also
Legal.
got emotions. Then
So, and I said government does kill. In Zimbabwe, the government had to, after Cecil the lion was killed, and there's a big outcry in the U.S. to ruin this guy's life. Their ability to sell the right to come and kill these animals for $50,000 was almost eliminated, and they had to just kill the animals and they didn't get anything out of it. So there was a black rhino that they sold the right to kill the black rhinos for $250,000 on the internet, and then the person that purchased it, because of the backlash of ignorant Westerners who don't know anything, the person that bought it decided he didn't want to go and have his life ruined and potentially be murdered by some supposed animal rights. And so the country, which again, I think it was Zimbabwe, had to just kill the black rhino, and they didn't get anything out of it. And it's because it was a black rhino, it was blind, it was old, it was actually hurting the herd, and they had to put it down. So sometimes you have to put these animals down. And it's better in these cases if you can get something out of putting these animals that have to be put down for the betterment of the herd. If you can get something, and the $250,000 would have gone a long ways to protect the rest of the black rhinos. I think there's only 20 left or something, but they had to be killed. And so people in the West that don't know anything, have never actually seen any of these animals, the idea that they want to protect the lions. Again, Zimbabwe had to kill 200 of them after that, and they didn't get anything out of it. So they weren't able to benefit from the killing. So governments do kill these animals. They have to sometimes, and it's better it's better if they can get something out of it and some money, and take that money and protect the rest of the ones that don't have to be killed anyways. So
yeah, okay. Whatever you told, I understood. But the point here is that saving the life of an animal, which or you can say, if an animal has got a disease and that disease cannot be cured, we know that, the doctors know that. Then say trying to save the animal, I do agree that is worthless. It will be like a stupid thing, and we can use the rest of the money in for the safety of animals. That's fine. But what I always focus on a point that at present, the value of the horns of rhino that we have, there is a great value of the rhino horns. There is a great value of the ivory, which I think after legalization, the value would decrease down. The value this decrease down after some time. I think so. Because because when something would be made legal, when all these ivory horns are all or when all these things will be made legalized, then there will be an incident where they will be there in a huge amount. From other countries, someone will export. From other countries, someone will import. So this and this all everything will be going on, and people will lose. That excitement to see these rhinos. People will lose that excitement to say that we have that transfer price. They will lose it because they know that if even though we have some animals which has got a horn, still the government is going to kill them. That means what I mean to say is that, for example, in Assam we have got one rhinoceros, but after we legalize the process, we will have no more opportunity to fight because someone or the other is going to kill the animal, or someone or the other is going to take off the horn. Is going to take off the horn, and so we'll have no right. We'll have no right to feel pride of the animals. Just same as a situation today. Today something we have. For example, we have got a for example, take an example of a cup, which is one is golden, other one is silver. If someone takes the gold from the particular cup, do you think that particular cup will have some value? It will have no value. Similarly, when if we take the horns of the rhinoceros out and let it leave the animal to live in do you think it will get any value? No. Then what's the difference between the rhinoceros that we have in Assam and what is the difference between rhinoceros that we have in South Africa? There will exist no difference. But there's a difference, and we pride on the difference. So that difference would totally get distinct, would totally get devastated. But we still want that difference should be there. We don't want to take off that particular valuable things from the animals, because once we take the valuable things from the animals, the animal will become worthless. But we never want it. Back to you.
Well, if you're saying that an animal is only worth anything because of the horn, then I guess poaching is okay, right? Because what is a horn? I don't understand that argument. I don't think the value of the animal is decreased in terms of how people see it, just because it doesn't have a horn anymore. I'm not sure, but I think they grow back. But even if they don't, I don't see why that even matters. But you would have more animals that wouldn't exist presently because it is illegal. So there are a lot of animals. Many of these rhinos don't exist. But if it was legal to sell rhino horn, you would have more rhinos that would exist simply because of their horn. Now, is it better to have less rhinos, to have more poaching, knowing that I guess that the animals are going to keep, some animals are going to keep their horn? I'm not really sure with that argument. So is it better to know that there are less animals? I think that John Stossel had a great video, and a woman was saying that she didn't want animals to become commoditized. Is it somehow better that we don't see animals as commodities officially? I mean, we still do. We still see animals as commodities, and I'd say that's a good thing because, again, market incentives. But if internationally it's, I guess, sort of illegal to see them as commodities, is that somehow better, knowing that there are less of them? But if we allow this animal to become a commodity and we have more of them, isn't that a good thing? I mean, I don't see why it's a problem to see an animal as a commodity.
No, you say
if it helps an animal.
Go ahead. No, go.
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, if you're saying that we see animals as commodities, why? Because they have got horns, they have got their body cover, and we utilize it for various objects. Then humans are also commodities, no? Because sometimes what happens, we have seen many humans are killed because for their lungs.
Okay, so you're saying humans are killed. Well, humans are not animals. Animals are not humans. They are very different. So the murder of a human is different than the killing of an animal. I don't think animals have rights. If animals have rights, then are you going to prosecute a lion for killing a zebra? No, I think everybody sees that as kind of ridiculous. So animals don't have rights that humans, they don't have the same value that human life does. At least that's my view. And I think everybody agrees with that because most people eat animals and they believe in owning cats and things like that. You wouldn't say you'd own a person. So I don't think anybody in there. So even though some people say that animals have rights and they have every right that a human has, and nobody actually acts that way fully. Nobody can live consistently with that. So animals don't have rights. Now that's not to say that you should just go and kill animals. It's not a big deal. There should be a purpose. If you're going to kill an animal, you should have a good purpose. And in this case, you would be raising animals for the purpose of taking their horns. You don't have to kill the rhino. You would just take their horn, and to do that, the animal would only exist because you want its horn. So isn't it better to have more animals without horns than less animals altogether? I would think that most people would agree with that. That if you have an animal that's going extinct, it would be better off to have more of the animal, even if it doesn't have the horn. So, again, just having it illegal has not done anything positive for the animal itself. I again point out that now we're talking mostly about rhinos here, but Kenya burned 100 tons last year of ivory. The intent was to tell people that ivory is worthless, but nobody listened. People laughed and said, okay, now there's less ivory on the market. The price went up. I have more of an incentive to go poach elephants. And to prove that, they killed over 1,000 park rangers. So again, I go back to the fact that when it was legal in South Africa for 20 years, the population of rhinos went up fourfold. So there were 4 times as many rhinos when the rhino horn was legal to sell, 4 times as many rhinos. And when it was made illegal, poaching went up well over 1,000%. So it went up 10 to 15 times, if not more. And that's because the price went up. You bring in the criminal element, and the incentive is always going to be there. The incentive for rhino horn is pretty much completely Vietnam. They grind it down. They believe it cures cancer. It's an aphrodisiac. It's all kinds of things. In China, it's ancient Chinese medicine. So they removed it. They're trying to tell, hey, I'm not medicine. But people aren't going to listen to that. People have traditions. And so they believe it's a kind of a cure-all type thing. So they're going to want it. The demand is there. The demand will be there. And if there's a demand, there's somebody who is willing to supply it at a given price. If we lower the price, there will be less people willing to supply that product. And you can only lower the price, not by making it illegal. That raises the price. You can lower the price by incentivizing capitalists to go out and raise these animals in what we're here saying legally. And they would have that profit motive to go and do that. And so if I remember, I'll post the Stosso video link below. I would point to the cow and the chicken. These are animals that don't exist in the wild, not in their present form that we see in the West. And they're not endangered. And the reason they're not endangered is because people eat them. So you think of the number of cows that are killed every year for food, and yet there are more cows being raised. So there's no danger to the cow going extinct because it's legal to kill it. If it were illegal to kill cows and pigs, if suddenly we made it illegal, first of all, the farmers would probably just release them, and you'd have a lot of people out there saying, hey, I want some bacon, and poaching them. And it's difficult to say how would they go extinct. Well, a cow cannot live on its own, but so it's a little bit of a different animal. But in terms of the market commodity, it's not really that different of an animal. So let me say, I want to say that I am against poaching. So I do not believe that poaching should be legal. What I believe is that the sale of the horn should be legal. And again, that would incentivize the farming of the animal, the raising of the animal for the purpose of taking the horn without killing the animal. And I think that would benefit the rhino population as it did when it was done. So, all right, I guess he dropped off. Indeed, we had the same problem that we had yesterday with poor internet connection in India. So let me thank Durazit for taking me on, and these are good debates. So adios.